All right, everybody, let's talk grocery stores. Now, this week, Canada's Industry Minister, François-Philippe Champagne, remember a couple months ago, he declared victory, for crying out loud. It was like he was on the aircraft carrier with the Mission Accomplished banner behind him. He said he called the grocery stores to the table, and they all agreed to lower prices. Problem solved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still getting the text message from listeners who are telling me about just how expensive it is still to buy groceries in this country. This week, the industry minister said that he wants a foreign grocery giant to come here. That's the solution now. Let's get a big giant. Think of Trader Joe's in the U.S. Think of Aldi in Germany. They should come here. They've expanded to other countries. Well, when I saw that, I said, I want to get the food professor's take. Dr. Sylvain Charlebois is on the line from Dalhousie University, because I'm sure he's got a thought or two on this one. Welcome back to the show, Sylvain.
Well, thank you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So, let me ask you this. Just how likely is it that Trader Joe's or Aldi will say, yeah, let's go to Canada?
Well, if they thought they would make money coming to Canada, wouldn't they be here already? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
That was my first thought. Second thing, grocers were summoned 3 times in 2023, and all 3 times they were accused of making too much money.
Yeah.
Now, if you're the CEO of Aldi or the CEO of a Lidl in Germany, would you want to be summoned to go to Ottawa and explain why you're actually making money in the first place?
Yeah.
So the political theater, we're laughing at all of the political theater that has been going on, but all of that really was detrimental to our nation's capacity to attract any foreign investors at all, which is why it doesn't matter what banner you want, whether it's Trader Joe's, Aldi, Lidl, it doesn't matter. I don't think it's going to happen. What may happen, though, is that you may actually, domestic players, fill the void in some way, because they would understand the Canadian market, which is not an easy market to deal with. Distribution costs are very high. We're only 40 million people in one of the largest countries in the world. So making money here as a food distributor is not an easy thing, and so that's why I'm mostly looking at domestic players that can actually make a bit of a difference.
So, and the other thing, it's one thing if you're making this astronomical sum of money. The profit margin of 3.5% to be, and it seems like every week I see Jagmeet Singh on Twitter, on X, saying something about how the grocery stores are greedy. I'm like, why would you subject yourself to that? Having said that, Costco and Walmart are in this country. They are making money. So doesn't that prove the point that maybe others could too?
Oh, of course. But if you look at both Costco and Walmart, they did their homework. So, for example, Walmart, they came into Canada back in 1994 when they actually acquired Woolco. Mm-hmm. And they actually didn't open up 400 stores. They gradually opened up stores. I think they started with like 20 stores or something like that, and gradually learned about the Canadian market. So in other words, if you want to be, and Costco did the same thing. As soon as they open up a store, they take their time to open up. They just opened up a new store, I think store number 106 in Edmonton, and it took them 2-3 years to think about it. They're very careful when opening up new stores. You can't just invite some retailer from either the United States or Europe to come into Canada and open up 100 stores. Look at what happened to Target.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2014, they came in and left. Nordstrom left, Sears left, Lowe's left. You can go on and on. There are so many retailers that have left that basically underestimated the complexities of the Canadian market.
So, and when you say complexities of the Canadian market, is it just too difficult to make money in Canada? There are better options for these companies?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. So if you're the Minister of Innovation or the Government of Canada, you want to make sure, you want to enable conditions in order for grocers to make more money. And right now, we're actually doing the opposite. We do everything we can to suppress profits. And when I actually listen to the Canadian government, sometimes I wonder whether or not they forgot why companies exist in the first place. I mean, they have to make a profit. That's it. Well, and I know that before the holidays, there was one witness that went to Ottawa, misled the entire country by stating that grocers will make a record profit of $6 billion collectively, which was actually not true. The data that was used for to support the $6 billion claim included convenience stores and specialty stores, not just grocers. And so there's a lot of that going on, including Mr. Singh, who constantly posts on social media messages suggesting that grocers are greedy, companies are greedy. Well, I mean, greedy at 3.4%. You have to sell $120 billion worth of food to make $3 billion. Why don't you look at banks? Why don't you look at pharmaceuticals? Why don't you look at avionics? I mean, margins are much higher in those sectors. A lot of people are suffering due to mortgages right now, so why don't you go after banks instead?
Yeah. And, the other thing that gets me is when they say, it's record profits, right? And they're looking at the total dollar number.
Nominal numbers, yeah.
And which when you think about how much the population is growing, right, where we've just blown past 40 million, we're going to 41 in record time. If you add more people, everyone has to buy groceries, by the way. Everyone eats. If you add more people, there will always be record profits on sheer dollar sign at the end of the day.
And it works. The thing is, a message like that works for people who don't understand data. When they don't understand numbers or financial reports, I would encourage anyone listening in right now to go to financial reports. They're audited, they're verified, and you'll see that margins are very thin. And gross margins, which I would argue is the number one metric to assess greed, in my view, they've been the same over the last 5 years for Metro, Empire Sobeys, and Loblaws. Steady as she goes over the last 5 years. And so there is no evidence of greedflation. Now, are margins high in Canada? That's another debate, because I think they are compared to the U.S. They're double of what they are in the U.S. So do we need more competition? Of course. But I think that Ottawa, what it's doing, it's not helping the cause. I think we need to create conditions. And one of the ways to do that is to decrease retail taxes and implement a mandatory code of conduct to force companies like Loblaws and Walmart to play a fair game.
Make it enticing so that Trader Joe's would actually want to come here to create that competition. I should note that the Toronto Star reached out to Trader Joe's this week and asked them and spoke to a PR person. After the PR person finished laughing, I imagine, they said they're completely focused on expanding in the U.S., because they've got plenty of expansion they can do in that country before they set foot in this one.
Do you know what the irony is?
What?
Right now, there's a Canadian grocer going to the U.S.
Which one?
That grocer, it's TNT.
Oh, TNT is going to the U.S.?
TNT is owned by Loblaw.
Yes.
It's a division of Loblaw. It's opening up 2 stores out west, I believe in Washington State and California.
I spoke to the president of TNT. What's her name? She was tremendous on the show.
Goodness.
Tina? I think it's Tina something. Anyways. But yeah, I mean, that's a success story.
But in Montreal, you guys have 2 stores, I believe, now.
I didn't know they were going to the States. Unbelievable.
But they're going. So while we're praying and begging people to come to Canada, Canadian grocers are going to the U.S. no problem, and nobody's begging.
It's crazy. Sylvain, listen, it's always great talking to you. You're a tremendous follow on Twitter, X, whatever it's called. Thanks so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Dr. Sylvain Charlebois is the food professor. He's the senior director at the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University.